Hello, my loves. How are you? Hope all is well with you guys. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Guys, today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do a walkthrough. But this is a learning flashcards, pretty much. I've done one already. I've done the Lenormand learning cards. And now I'm going to be doing the Palmistry learning cards. These are by Living Magick learning cards. And Jadzia and Jay DeForest did these cards. This is the art of chiromancy, and they're self-taught flashcards. So here is the box. These are great to learn. If you like flashcards and you like learning that way, this is a great tool. You know, you can go through the cards. You can, you know, see if you know this. These are awesome. On the back it says, palm reading is made easy with this flashcard deck. Palmistry, or chiromancy, is the art of reading the hand. The word chiromancy comes from the Greek language, literally meaning hand divination. Palm reading originated in the East thousands of years ago and is a popular divination system today. These cards are designed to assist in learning the many different elements of palmistry. This divination form can shed light on love, life, career, talents, health, and much more. The deck includes hand types, the major and minor lines, the mounts, fingers, flanges, palm markings, fingers, and nail shapes. So this was published in 2013. So these are older cards. And it comes with a little book. Oops. It's just a regular box. You just open. And it comes with a little book. And it tells you about the deck, how to use the deck. It goes into terminology, the hand, observation aids, measuring your flanges, which are your fingers. Your flanges are your fingers. They're each part of your fingers. So it's this part, and this part are your flanges. Palmistry and health. Nail growth patterns and health, hand color and health, lifeline and your timing of the lifeline. It has great picture of the hand in here. It tells you about the headline and timing, the fate line and timing, looking for love, and money in the hand. And then there is also some recommended reading that they have in here. So it comes with a title card. These out of here. So it comes with a title card, which will go up on my wall with the rest of my cards. And then it goes into the different cards. And I don't know if these are in any order or not, but I want to show you. I have several of these. I have the hand here. I got this, it was in a Halloween store. I saw this and I got two of them, and one of the fingers broke on the one. So I have that in my bedroom. I mean, it's not a big deal, but in here I want, you know, the regular. So it tells you, I don't know if you can see, but it tells you all the different parts of the hands here, the bracelets. I also have a small one. I don't know if you guys can see it up there. It is, let me bring it down here. There's a small one I have that I absolutely love. And that stays up there on top of my oracle cards. So let's start with the cards. So I mean, this is a helpful guide, you know, for if this is what you want to learn. I can read a little bit of palmistry. I'm not real great at it. I do have to get the book out when I do read. So this is something that I wanted to learn more of and see if it helps me. So the first one I have here is the Earth hand. If you guys can see. This would be considered, if your hand looks like this would be considered an Earth hand. Okay. And on the back it says, this hand is short. Square palm with short fingers. The few lines are deep and strong. The key words are grounded, practical, artistic, stable, traditional, solid, dependable, nature lover, steadfast, hardworking, stubborn, tireless, patient, honest, decisive, consistent, organizer. Often seen in gardeners, craftsmen, truck drivers, plumbers, auto mechanics, veterinarians, carpenters, and others, people who work with their hands. So again, this is the Earth hand. Then we have the Air hand. Okay. So look at the difference between that. Okay, so that's would be an Earth hand. An Air hand, the Air hand, it has a square, short palm with longer fingers. The few lines on this hand are fine, but well-defined. Key words are sharp, mind, curiosity, restless, intellectual, witty, need consistent stimulation, like variety, adventurous, communicators, systematic, thinkers, analytical, logical, and studious. Often people that are seen with this hand are writers, journalists, communications, media, reporters, intellectuals, scientists, directors, publishers, linguistics, and public speakers. So again, there is the Air hand. Then we have the Fire hand. The Fire hand, this hand has a longer palm with relatively shorter fingers. There may be many lines on this palm, but it is not overly crowded. Okay. Key words are enthusiastic, lively, needs a challenge, positive, strong, a go-getter, passionate, a leader, active, outgoing, motivated, independent, and an extrovert. Okay. People that usually have this kind of hand are athletes, actors, business people, corporate jobs, entrepreneurs, show business, maybe performers, other careers that are active, competitive, and involve a level of showmanship. Okay, so again, this is the Fire hand. And the last hand we have here is the Water hand. I think that one kind of looks like, don't look at my hand here, it's all a mess, but I think that one is more of mine. This is a Water hand. It's a long palm with long fingers. Defines this hand type. These hands are elegant with lots of fine lines, spider-y lines on the palm. They're sensitive, gentle, emotional, creative, artistic, idealistic, fantasism, patience, introverts, psychics, sympathetic, unworldly, refined, and vulnerable. Often seen in musicians and poets, artists, fashion industry, counselors, spiritualists, visionaries, intuitives, psychologists, dreamers, clerics, and psychics. So again, that is the Water hand. So then we're going to go into your mounds. of your hands, okay? Your mounds are these puffy little parts of your hands, okay? See I have a very defined one right here. That is a mound. So each one of these are mounds, okay? So the first mound that we have here is the Jupiter Mound. And the Jupiter Mound is right below your index finger. Okay, so it's right here and it will be defined. You will be able to see that. So if you have that in your hand, the Jupiter Mound, the Jupiter Mound is associated with your sense of self-worth, confidence, and leadership. It's developed. If it's developed, it shows a good sense of confidence and authority in your life, and you're well balanced. If it's expanded, if this mound covers a wide area, and it shows that you are sociable and a generous personality. If it's overdeveloped, if it's too much there, when it rises high above the other mounds of the hand, this person may be bossy, competitive, ambitious, and overly dominant. If it's underdeveloped, so if you don't really see anything, you see more of a flat, hollow mound, it shows that you're lacking self-confidence. Sorry. No interest in authoritative positions or personal ambitions. Okay, so again, that is the Jupiter Mound. Next, we have the Saturn Mound. And the Saturn Mound is under your middle finger. And the Saturn Mound, this Saturn Mound is related to rules and your sense of responsibility. This mound is best when it is less developed than the other ones. If it's slightly developed, it shows that you have good common sense, appreciation for order in the system, and an interest in philosophy. If it's overdeveloped, then an overly large mound here indicates a cynical, overburdened outlook on life. This person may be selfish and uncaring. If it's underdeveloped and it's flat, it can be a sign of taking situations in stride. Those with hollow mounds do not feel particularly stressed and may have an easier time with responsibilities. So again, that's Saturn. Then we have Apollo Mound. The Apollo Mound is with your ring finger. Okay. The mound of the Apollo, or the sun, okay? I always look at that as the sun, but it is Apollo, is associated with creativity, artistic talent, success, and self-expression. If that mound is developed, it shows creative talent and appreciation for art. This person is using their talents and expressing themselves. If it's underdeveloped, when it towers over the other mounds, this person may be very talented. The extreme with this can show someone who is self-absorbed and conceited. If it's underdeveloped, it can, a flatter mound can indicate either the lack of creativity or talent that is going unused. So again, this is the Sun or the Apollo Mount. Then we have a Mercury Mount, and that's under your little finger. The Mercury Mount has to do with communication and intelligence, and they're found in that. If it's developed, this person enjoys people, talking, and socializing. This shows an articulate communicator with good business skills and a love for commerce. If it's overdeveloped, it can indicate someone who is excessively chatty, trivial with their speech, and seemingly shallow-minded. If it's underdeveloped, it can show a loner, someone who is not interested in interacting with others, or has a difficult time with social situations. Again, Mercury Mount. And then we have Mars, positive. And that would be right under your, in between your thumb and your first finger, your pointer finger. And Mars positive, also known as active Mars, is associated with courage, vitality, and anger. Okay, so if it's developed, it shows dealing with confrontation when necessary, but not seeking it. There is a healthy amount of competition and courage with this developed mount. If it's overdeveloped, when it is overly large, this can mean a raging temper, aggression, or cruelty. This person is quick to anger and slow to forgive. If it's underdeveloped, it may indicate a lack of assertiveness and self-preservation. There may be a lack of courage and difficulty standing up for ones. So that's the Mars positive. We have the Mars plane. And that would be in the center of the hand. The Mars plane. The Mars plane is where the active and passive Mars meet. This mound shows your passion and emotional response. It indicates how well you deal with difficult situations. If it's developed, when this mound is well balanced, look to the markings on the mound for more information. If it's overdeveloped, it can mean an active temper that flares up easily. It can also indicate holding a grudge or seeking revenge. If it's underdeveloped, a flatter mound here can show a lack of impact or presence in your personality. It may also let insults affect you. May not let insults affect you at all. So you won't feel, insults won't affect you. So again, that's Mars plane, P-L-A-I-N. Then we have Mars negative, okay? And that would be under your pinky. The passive or negative Mars shows your staying power, your conviction, the ability to survive in different situations. If this is developed, it shows that you have the ability to stay committed to a decision that you make. The larger this mound is, the less you are concerned about one's opinion of you, and the more you will stick up for yourself. If it's underdeveloped, it may show changeability and lacking conviction. You may also have lower self-confidence and need other people's approval. There is the possibility of being taken advantage of, ill-treated, or being unappreciative by those around you. So that's Mars negative. So now we have the Venus mount. And there's your Venus mount, would be your big one right under your thumb. The Mount of Venus is associated with vitality, stamina, sex drive, love, health, and joy of life. If this is developed, when it's well-rounded, this Mount shows a balanced personality indicated by a healthy sex drive, an optimistic outlook, and good general health. If it's underdeveloped, a very padded mount here shows a high libido, overindulgent personality, and a potentially overly strong character. If it's underdeveloped, a less defined mount often indicates a delicate health, lack of libido, or a more pessimistic outlook on life. So again, that's your Venus mount. Here's your Neptune mount. It's right in the center, right here. In the middle of your hand. Linking the conscious and the subconscious parts of the mind is the mount of Neptune. If it's developed, it shows quick perception and being in touch with the intuitive and logical parts of the mind. This indicates a good instinct and compassion towards others. These people are able to let their intuition guide them. If it's overdeveloped, it can indicate a person who is too intuitive. They may have difficulty distinguishing reality from fantasy. If it's underdeveloped, and it's kind of hollow maybe, this shows a lack of connection to the intuition. They may have difficulty with their subconscious minds and feel dissatisfaction with their life. It can also indicate a general lack of self-reflection. So that's the Neptune mount. Then we have the Luna mount. And that is right by your wrist. It's right in here. The Luna mount. The mount of Luna, the moon, is the intuitive, imaginative, subconscious, and artistic part of the self. If this is developed, it indicates a receptive, imaginative, and nurturing personality. There is much artistic talent found with this mount. If it's overdeveloped, it shows an active imagination and potentially unrealistic dreams. These people can be psychics, dreamers, and consumed artists. They may be moody and unbalanced. However, if they receive help from others, their artistic talents may flourish. If it's underdeveloped, a flattened lunar mount can indicate a lack of imagination. They may be uninspired, but they are realistic, grounded, and practical. So that's your lunar mount. Let me take a drink. Okay, so now we're going to be going on to the fingers. Okay. So there's a lot to palmistry. So here's your Jupiter finger. Okay, that would be your index finger. Now you want to make sure that you always read both hands too. Okay, not just one hand, because both your lines and things on each hand are different. Okay, so the Jupiter finger. The index finger relates to leadership, self-worth, ego, social self, and social standing. If it's a long finger, Jupiter is long when it reaches above the bottom of Saturn's nail. Okay, this person is a true leader. They are social, ambitious, and tend to draw others to them. If it's short, a short finger that does not reach the bottom of Saturn's nail. This person prefers to follow rather than lead. They play support roles and tend to be loners. If it's an average length, this finger reaches the bottom of Saturn's nail. These people are well balanced and they can lead or follow with ease. If there is a great space between Jupiter and Saturn, the person is independent and a loner. If it is close to Saturn, they are very social. So again, that's Jupiter finger. Then we have Saturn finger. Saturn is your middle finger. The middle finger is associated with discipline, responsibility, structure, karma, and rules. Okay, if it's long, when Saturn extends the full nail length above Jupiter, it is long. This person is serious, practical, and may lack humor. They may be the lawyer, the judge, or the scientist. If it's short, a short finger is almost even with Jupiter. It indicates a lack of responsibility, carelessness, and disregard for authority. They may lack direction and look to others for their path. If it's average, with this finger, there is a respect for authority, order, and discipline. They collect possessions through hard work. When this finger stands apart from Apollo, it shows a person who is very independent. They often need alone time and prefer to work alone. So again, that is your Saturn finger. Too much talking. I've had a cold, if you can't tell. Okay. So the next finger is your Palo finger, and that would be your ring finger. This finger relates to creativity, your talents, flair, artistic tastes, and your self-expression. If it's long, it reaches higher than the midway point of Saturn's nail. This person may live in a fantasy world, always needs to be in the spotlight, and may be extreme in their temperament. They may be the gambler or the risk taker. If it's short, it shows someone who is not driven by creative talents, may be shy in public settings, have strange fright, or may lack appreciation for artistry and the finer things in life. If it's average, is about the same length as the Jupiter finger, this person has a good balance between creativity and ambition. Their creative interests are more likely to succeed as they can both create their art and promote themselves. So that's your Apollo finger. Oops. Then we have your Mercury finger, and that would be your pinky. Your little finger. The Mercury finger relates to communication, commerce, public relations, career, and health. If it's long, it shows that someone is too clever and may be sly. Their business relationships may not last long. However, they can be very good at making money and achieving their goals. If it's short, this person may prefer to work from home. Sorry, guys. They don't like to leave their comfort zone and may be the silent type. If it's average, the finger reaches the bottom of Jupiter's nail. The individual is balanced and their communications and cleverness. The further the Mercury stands apart from Apollo, the more eccentric this person is. This may be expressed through their appearance and career. Mercury Finger. Then we have the thumb, okay? The thumb shows individuality and willpower. It can indicate generosity, empowerment, logic, drive, initiative, love, and flexibility. If it's long, whether it reaches above the middle of Jupiter's bottom phalange, this person is a born leader. They're stubborn, independent, and overbearing. If it's short, an individual who prefers to follow, they lack ambition, and be content with what life gives them. If it's average in length, this thumb comes to the middle of the bottom phalange of the Jupiter finger. The average thumb is healthy and well balanced. It shows strong will, rational, and drive. A thumb at less than 45-degree angle shows a cautious, ungiving nature. If it's greater than 90 degrees, it either overly aggressive or a pushover. So that is the thumb. So now we're going to go on to the curved percussion. So we're on to the percussions. This percussion protrudes, creating a curve either in the middle or further down towards the wrist. If the percussion curves out in the center, it shows a person who is good at developing their own ideas and creative concepts. They also have the drive to put those ideas into practice. When the curved percussion is lowered down towards the wrist, it indicates a person who is good at putting other people's ideas into action. They are practical and good at interpreting others' creative thoughts. If it's a tapered percussion, this one, this percussion juts out near the Mercury Finger and Mount, then tapers down to the wrist. If this person is very thought-oriented, they are mentally active, always planning, thinking, and coming up with ideas. They can be great communicators and have numerous creative ideas. The downside to this is that they have a very difficult time relaxing. It may take a lot of focus to stop analyzing and just relax. Their mind is hyperactive and difficult to switch off. A straight percussion. A straight percussion. The percussion is never going to be truly straight, but this type will not curve outward or noticeably jut out. The person with a relatively straight percussion may have little interest in developing their creativity. They may not be in tune with their instincts or their subconscious mind. When an individual has a straight percussion, it is best to look at the rest of the hand to determine what they are interested in cultivating and developing in their lives. Okay, so Now we're on to the different lines of the hand, okay? This is the part I kind of know. So here is your lifeline. The lifeline indicates your quality of life, your vitality, and your stamina. If it's a strong line, it means that it's you're robust, vigorous, active, optimistic. If it's a weak line, if you can barely see that, it's low energy, lethargic, inactive, and sickly. If it's short, it means positive, change, unconventional life. Often the short lifeline will branch out to connect to other lines, extending the lifeline. If it's long, it means that it's conventional life, stamina, and resilience. If it kind of sweeps out, it's you're an introverted, social, excited. If it kind of hugs your thumb, it means that you're an introvert, a loner, subdued. If it starts at your Jupiter Mount, okay, it means that you're ambitious, leadership, a sign of success and attainment. Next one is your headline. So your lifeline and your headline. The headline relates to concentration, your intellect, creativity, and your thought process. If it's strong, it means that you are intellectual, a logical thinker, and focused. If it's a weak, that you're unfocused, indecisive, and unrealistic. If it's short, purposeful, you're focused, materialistic. Long, adaptable, varied, has many interests. If it's straight, logical, analytical, practical, and focused. If it's curved, it means it's creative, experimental, and a communicator. If it intertwines with the lifeline, so if it kind of connects with that lifeline or kind of is around it, it's influenced by family, dependent nature, strong ties to background. If it's kind of forked, and this is the writer's fork, it means business talents. This gives you a lot of information, guys. I'm not even halfway through this deck, so I might do this in two different sessions here. Let's see how it goes. This is the heart line is next. So the heart line is about love, of course. It's about your emotions and relationships are found in the heart line. If it's a very strong line, it means that you're sexual, warm, generous, and impulsive. If it's weak, you're unsatisfied, insecure, and disappointments. If it's short, if it ends at Saturn, it kind of lacks commitment. If it's long, at the end of Jupiter, it's high expectations. If it's straight, modest, cautious, less emotional. If it's curved, it's passionate, dominant, and highly sexual. If it ends between Jupiter and the Saturn fingers, it means affectionate, shows love through your actions. If it crosses your entire palm of your hand, you're a workaholic and a loner. So again, that's the heart line. Fate line goes from your middle finger down to your wrist. The fate line, or the Saturn line, relates to work, responsibilities, and life direction. If it's strong, you're in control, ambitious, purpose, and a leader. If it's weak, lack direction, and subject to fate. If there's no line there, you're unconventional and there's not a true path. You don't have a true path. If it begins at the lunar mount, it's a creative career path. If it begins at your lifeline, it's family influences and career. Begins at the palms center, you're a late bloomer. If it's forked ending, it means life and career success. I'm gonna grab a cough drop. I had one in here. This is ridiculous. I'm on an antibiotic for this cough and sore throat. I've had a sore throat. So, don't know where it came from. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, if it ends at the Jupiter Mound, it's power and influence. So again, that's your fate line. All right, so now we're on to the Apollo line. Let me pull up my sleeves a little. All right, the Apollo line shows fulfillment, satisfaction, and creative talents. See, I've never known about the Apollo line. And that goes under your finger. If it's strong, it means you're outgoing, charming, talented, and lucky. If it's weak, it means discouraged, cynical, pessimistic. If there's multiple lines, it's many talents and versatile. Begins at the fate line, it's success through hard work. If it begins at the lifeline, it means you're independent and success. Begins at the Venus Mount, family wealth. Begins at the Luna Mount, it means early life success. Sometimes these lines, guys, are really, really hard to see. So a good tip and a good trick is to get a magnifying glass. I have drawn mine out. So I have pretty deep lines. So I've drawn them with a pen, you know, practicing. So Mercury or your health line. Always a good line. But I have a lot of fine lines in my hand too. The Mercury line shows the person's health, but also business talent. This line used to indicate simply health, but now it is also seen as related to business and healthcare industries. If it's strong, it's tiredness, stress, or overworked. Weak, relaxation, revitalized, leisure. If it begins at your Venus Mount, you work in the healthcare industry, personal care, or with people. If it begins at your lifeline, it's business instinct, intuitive foresight, business success. So again, that is your health line or your Mercury line. Then we have Mars line. The Mars line runs, let me show you that. Oh my goodness. The Mars lines runs along the inside and parallel to the lifeline. Its length is not important and may vary. This line can begin near the Mars positive mount or start anywhere along the lifeline. It may parallel the lifeline for a short distance or look like a second lifeline. The Mars line shows backup energy, vitality, and protection to the individual. When the lifeline is weakened, the Mars line can indicate a reserve of strength and swift recovery. You don't have to have all these lines in your hand either. There are some things in your hand that you will not have. Next we have Girdle of Venus. Like on this hand, I do not have a Girdle of Venus. I don't know about the other one. No, I don't have one. This line forms a semicircle above the heart line, encompassing both the Saturn and Apollo mounts. It may form a solid line or appear broken into pieces. The Girdle of Venus is a rare line that indicates intense feelings, a need for change, appreciation for art, and enjoyment of the finer things in life. This person loves beauty and creativity. They will fill their lives with beautiful things. Internally, this individual may be extremely emotional, sensitive, and self-indulgent. Then we have a bow of intuition. And that's right there. I do not have one either. Bow of intuition. An uncommon line. The bow of intuition begins at the mouth of Luna and ends near Mercury. This line forms a semicircle bowing out towards the middle of the palm. This line indicates intuitive powers, perception, insight, and even psychic abilities. Then we have partner lines. And that is right under your middle. It tells you how many people that you may have. Partner, or the marriage line, begins at the hand's percussion and ends on the mountain of Mercury. There may be one line, or there may be several lines. Some may be deeper than others. Sometimes that line is where you need your magnifier. These lines indicate long-term committed relationships. They only show up for true and deep relationships. This means that a person might marry more times than the number of partnership lines they have in their palm. Only the very committed relationships will appear. The next one is your travel lines. I probably have none because I don't travel. I don't have any. But I'm kind of in the dark too, so. No. Melissa doesn't travel. Travel lines can be found coming horizontally from the percussion into the Mount of Luna and passive Mars. The more lines a person has, the more they are likely to travel. The deeper a line is, the further or longer the journey may be. Look to any marks on the lines for indications on how long a journey is likely to go. Unmarked travel lines usually mean a safe journey. Then we have the Jupiter ring. And that would be right under your Jupiter finger. Also known as the Ring of Solomon, the Jupiter ring creates a semicircle encompassing the Mount of Jupiter. This line indicates wisdom and philosophy. Those who have this line may be in a position of authority or have a career that requires sound judgment. And we have Saturn Ring. A semicircle around the mountain of Saturn is the Saturn Ring. It is a rare line and almost never appears as a fully closed semicircle. Those who have this line may lack enjoyment of life and be pessimistic. They can have a negative attitude toward life in general. Then we have the Apollo ring. The ring of Apollo is found in a semicircle at the base of the Palo Finger. It may be fully formed or fragmented. When this line appears, it shows a block of creativity. Those who possess this line may feel frustrated and lacking. They may be blocking their own creative expression. This line is seldom found on the hands, but should be addressed when present. So again, the Apollo ring. Then we have Sydney line. See now, I haven't heard this as a Sydney line. This line is simply the headline, running all of the way to the hand's percussion. Unlike the case of the Simian line, the heart line is still present on the palm. This very long headline shows a person who is set in their ways. They may be stubborn, single-minded, focused, and highly driven. Like I said, a lot of these lines you probably won't have. This is the Simian line. When the hand appears to have no head or heart line, but a single line that runs across the entire palm, this is the Simian line. The Simian line is the fusing of the head line and the heart line. This line indicates a combination of the emotion and mental aspects of a person. It can be difficult for this person to tell the difference between their thoughts and their feelings. Those who possess this line may be stubborn, complex, forceful, and goal-oriented. They can also be egotistical and have bad tempers. On a more positive side, the individuals are lovers of nature, home, and handy with tools. They are protective and loyal of those close to them. Okay, the star. A lot of these you might not have either. So if you have something that looks like that under your thumb, it means that you have the star. Stars can appear on the hand as simple asterisks or as a 5 or 6 pointed star. Developing on where the star is located, it can indicate good luck and gain, but it usually involves action on the individual's part. Stars want to break through, move ahead, and release the past. Sometimes they mean getting help from others to do it. A star on the finger mounts a positive sign of success unless on the Saturn Mound, which warns of difficulties. The star on the Ulna Mount, this indicates danger in travels and you need to be careful. If you have something that looks like a cross. Crosses on the palm represent opposition and choices. They can show a change in direction or a blockage. There are a few crosses that have a positive interpretation. Crosses on the Jupiter Mound. This cross indicates a long and a happy relationship. Plane of Mars cross. The cross here shows an interest in occult topics. This is known as the Mystic Cross or the Cross of Mystery. Those who have this mark can be intuitive, spiritual, and interested in the metaphysics. Again, this cross. Then we have the grill. Grills look like squares that have at least one extra line running through them. These marks indicate warnings and a need to be careful. They can be misdirected or scattered energy. There is a lack of stability when this mark appears. Grill on Venus shows an intense emotion. Grill on Mercury Mount may indicate misdirected energy in business matters or in communication. Again, the grill. Then we have the square. Squares lend foundation and structure. Traditionally, they represent protection. Squares are sometimes found to enclose other marks. They usually give in protection from more negative energies. A square on your Saturn Mount, most markings on the Saturn Mount take on a negative aspect. The square keeps its positive meaning here and protects against adversity. Square on your Jupiter Mount. This square is known as the teacher's square. People who have this mark are natural instructors. We have the triangle. Triangle. Triangles are lucky markings on the palm. They show success, overcoming obstacles, and wisdom. Triangle on Palo Mount shows success and fortune, but with a practical influence. This person can remain grounded while achieving. Triangle on active Mars. This marking here shows making good sense of physical energy. Athletes can be very successful with this mark. So again, the triangle. And we have a cross. I have quite a few crosses. When a cross appears on a line, it represents challenges, oppositions, and obstacles. They often show long-term obstacles that may force the person to change direction. For example, a cross on the Apollo line may indicate outside influences damaging an individual's reputation. With this influence in place, there is a need to shift emphasis or direction. The change of the crosses force you to make can be either positive or negative depending on the situation. So they can either be positive or negative depending on the situation. So they're kind of like in your lines, your health line, your lifeline. Okay, if you have bars on your line. The bar is very similar to the cross, also indicating the opposition. Unlike crosses, bars are not long-term. When a bar appears in a line, it shows a time of unpleasant experiences or trauma. It can be wasted efforts or barriers that stand in the way of your goals. This marking often shows a blockage that must be either overcome or weeded out. So bars. Then we have the stars on your lines. Stars generally intensify energies. A star found at the end of the line shows great success. However, they usually come with a price, or something may be lost in order to gain the rewards of the star. They also represent negative experiences and warnings. A star on the lifeline can indicate shock or physical injury. However, a star on the headline can be mental shock or shows a great surprise. In general, it is necessary to interpret stars with caution. They may be very positive, very negative, or a little of both. Then we have clean breaks in your lines. Okay, they kind of break. I have a lot of those. Clean break. With a clean break appears on a line, it shows a complete change in direction. This usually comes with an interpretation in the person's life. If there are too many breaks in a line, it shows a weak line. There are too many changes in direction, lack of focus, and no power in the line. Clean breaks can also represent force change. The individual may have circumstances that force this change upon them and be out of their control. Boy, I'm telling you guys a lot over myself. Overlapping breaks. An overlapping break shows a shift in direction rather than a complete change. Unlike a clean break, an overlapping break may be a change that the individual has consciously made. Instead of a complete interruption of energy, the overlapping break is usually more of a slowdown. There is a need to shift focus and change direction, but without losing all of your momentum. On occasion, this mark can show a complete change in direction, but it also is a choice made by the person and not outside influences. So an overlapping break. Then we have this island. Island. An island is a splitting apart of the line. This marking weakens the line and shows low resistance to outside factors. Islands are usually present during times of stress. They can indicate health issues, mental stress, or emotional imbalance. Islands vary in size and length on the lines. They can be very short and small, or widening and long. The stress or unfortunate event will last as long as the island's length. If the island ends with a small branch, it can mean that the situation was successfully resolved. So again, the island. Then we have a square. Square. Squares are signs of protection. When a square appears on a line after more negative markings, it can indicate a time of recuperation. This marking often shows up encompassing potentially negative events shown by breaks, islands, and the like. When a square is present, the negative situation may be overcome sooner, avoided, or the person may be protected from the unusual stress. The only time a square is potentially negative is when it is alone on a line, especially the lifeline. This can mean imprisonment or a feeling of isolation. So again, the square. Then we have the branch. Branch. Branches are side roads that lead elsewhere. They can be negative or positive. On the lifeline, if a branch comes off on the inside of the line towards the Mount of Venus, It shows a relationship. It may be a romantic relationship or a child. In general, branches that go downward from the line show disappointments. If the branch travels upward, this is a good sign. Look at the mount for the interpretation. A line that branches towards Jupiter shows academic success. To Saturn is career achievements. Towards Apollo is creativity, and a branch to Mercury can be business success. So again, that's branches. Then we have chains. Chains are a series of islands. Like islands, they show periods of stress. However, a chain weakens the line further. Usually a line is not chained its entire length, but may have sections with this series of small islands. In general, this shows a weak line dealing with health issues, indecisive, or several unfortunate events. Chains can also represent ongoing challenges that an individual faces due to upbringing, relationships, or attitude. Okay, then we're going to go on to a square finger. If you have a square finger, what does that mean? A square finger. These people like routine, are organized, logical, even-tempered, and dependable. If it's the Jupiter finger only, pragmatic, dutiful, no nonsense type person. Saturn, it's grounded, earthy, honest, honorable. Apollo, creative but practical, grounded, stable. Mercury, lacking communication skills. The thumb would be practical, routine, and lacks sensitivity. Again, that's the square. Then we have the pointed. People with pointed fingertips are intuitive, imaginative, creative, and sensitive. They can be daydreamers and practical, but they often have much artistic talent. Jupiter, idealistic, profound, philosophical. Saturn is a naive, intense, flighty, too trusting. Apollo is gifted, lack focus, artistry, and chaotic. Mercury is poetic, sensitive, precise, storytelling. The thumb would be intuitive, stable, and manipulative. And we have the conic fingertips. These people are quick thinking, intuitive, and have an appreciation for the arts. They are creative, talented, and go with the flow. Jupiter, flexible, versatile, loves comfort. Saturn, secure, flexible, helpful, efficient. Apollo, perfectionist. Creators, specialist. Mercury would be communicative, versatile, teachers. Thumb would be lack commitment, sensitive, and artistic. Again, it's the conic, or conic, like tonic, conic. Spatulate fingertip. Active, energetic, inventive, and originally describe these people. They are also practical, skillful, and exhibit common sense. Jupiter is specialist, doer, inventive, loner. Saturn would be tactile, technical, detail-oriented. Apollo, handy, instrumental, inclined, stable. Mercury would be useful, practical, visual, fixer. Thumb, skilled, hands-on, and a workaholic. So again, there is the spatulate, droplet, droplets. Droplets are found on the pads of the fingers. They are rounded pads of the skin that resemble water droplets about to fall, often paler in color than the rest of the finger. These show a love of texture and a very tactful nature. These people are very developed sense of touch. Droplets often do not appear on the fingers, but always indicate that the sense of touch is quite profound and relied upon. So droplets. Okay, so now we're going to go on to fingerprints. So these are going to be kind of really hard for you guys to see. Let's see here. This would be the Ulna Loops. This type of fingerprint is made up of loops that come in from the percussion and lean towards the thumb. Ulna Loops are the most common print pattern. It means adaptable, unfocused, diverse, team player, easygoing, emotional, receptive, fluid, imaginative, responsive, and restless. Radical loops. A relatively rare pattern in this opposite of the Ulna Loops. These come in from the thumb side of the hand and point towards the percussion. Keywords are assertive, adaptable, self-reliant, vocal, unfocused, diverse, agreeable, restless, fluid, imaginative, responsive, and non-conformist. Then we have the whorls. I learned this in criminalistics class. There are two types of whorls, those that spiral and those that are very dense. The more concentrated the whorl, the more intense the inflexible the person. Loners, independent, inflexible, responsible, stubborn, detached, analytical, individual, or original, focused, private, and opinionated. We have arches. This type of fingerprint gently arches in the middle of the finger pad. Keywords are grounded, earthly, supportive, hardworking, materialistic, reserved, practical, cautious, stubborn, traditionalist, and serious. Tinted arches. Another type of arch is the tinted arch. This print appears to have a tent pole holding up the arched pattern. Enthusiastic, impulsive, energetic, restless, intense, need solitude, sensitive, excitable, dependable, serious, and materialistic. And the last one, in fingerprints. The Peacock Eye. This pattern appears when there is a little whorl inside of a loop. It is a very rare print that only appears on the Apollo and Mercury fingers. It means lucky, protection, self-preservation, creative, flair, observant, and artistic. Traditionally, this pattern is a sign of protection and good luck for the individual. Okay, let me just fix these cards a little. We're almost done, guys. Ridged patterns. A. Oh, this one's going to be a hard one. The loop of humor. Humor, this would be the A one. Humor and a cheerful attitude. Let me see if I can do these. Right there's A, right underneath my fingernail. The B, I'll just hold this up. I don't know if you guys can see it. B is the loop of vocation, career, dedication. C is the Raja loop, shows leadership qualities and potentially royal blood. D is the loop of courage, shows great courage. E is the loop of music and appreciation for music. The whirl of music is musical talent. G is the loop of inspiration, poetic and artistic creativity. H is the loop of nature, shows love of nature. I is the whirl of Luna, indicates imaginative talent. J is the loop of water, shows a love of water. And K, triradius, energetic focal points. So I hope you guys can see that. Okay, now we're talking about the nails themselves, okay? If you have square nails. Square nails are identified by their wider being about equal to their length. So they're square. This individual may lack in common sense, but they have great physical stamina, an easygoing attitude, and an even temper. The wider the nail, the healthier and more well-balanced the person is. If the nail is too small, it can show a pessimistic point of view. The broad nail. These nails are rectangular in shape, being wider than they are long. This person is intelligent, driven, and has a strong personality. They may lack foresight and be prone to following their impulses. This type of nail is usually only found on the thumb and can point to a violent but short-lived temper. The fan shape. This nail is shaped like an open fan, wedged, or the shell. Usually, this type of nail appears when a person is under long-term stress and hardship. It indicates a nervous temperament. Those with fan-shaped nails may be prone to nail biting and or nervous habits. Almond nail. These nails are long, graceful, and pointed at the tip to form an almond. Individuals with this type of nail are gentle, kind, creative, and sometimes be unrealistic. These people are also very delicate and lack physical stamina. They may be prone to sickness and need to take extra care with their health. Once they find the right environment, this is not so challenging. They may flourish. The narrow nail. The narrow nail is common on the Mercury finger. However, a full set of nails can show an extreme nature. These individuals can be selfish, cold, and temperamental. They value beauty and order and can become aggravated if they are disturbed. Some may call them perfectionists. Those with narrow nails can be fragile, similar to the almond nail person, in both body and emotion. Oops. The moons. I have moons on my thumb. The moons are the semicircle portion at the base of the nail. It usually appears as white or pale pink. These relate to a person's health. Most people have moons on their thumbs, but not necessarily the other fingers. If the moons are overly large, this can indicate an overactive thyroid or high blood pressure. When the moons are not present, it can mean an underactive thyroid or low blood pressure. Lack of moons can also be related to a vitamin or mineral deficiency. Misshaped moons can indicate heart health issues. A bluish hue can point to respiratory problems. Now we're on to your joints. We're almost done, guys. We have about 6 cards left, I think. I know this is long, isn't it? So if you have smooth joints in your fingers, they're kind of smooth looking. They're not knotty or anything. By feeling along the sides of the fingers, you can feel if the joints are smooth. Most people don't have entirely smooth joints, but as long as they don't jut out, they are considered smooth. These individuals process information quickly and intuitively. They can be impulsive and action-oriented with their thoughts. The smoother the joints, the quicker information is processed and the more repetitive the person. If they're knotty, if you have like knotty joints, these joints visibly jut out. On occasion, these types of hands have wasted phalanges, creating even more pronounced joints. These people possess information much more slowly. They are thinkers, analyzers, and slow to act. Taking care to deliberately process information, they can have complex minds and never rush into making decisions. Traditionally, these are called philosopher's fingers. Jupiter phalanges. Here's your Jupiter phalanges. 1, 2, 3. So the first phalange, which would be up here, 1, 2, 3. First phalange, emotions and presentation. If it's long, it's influential, empathetic, and sensitive. Average is optimistic, expressive, and realistic. Shorts are egotistical, materialist, and timid. Your second one, phalange, is all about your intellect and the mind. If it's long, it's observant, intelligent, self-obsession. If it's average, balanced, orderly, and perfectionist. If it's short, you're superficial, simplistic, and impulsive. The third phalange, appearance and instincts. Long, it's comfortable, materialistic, conscientious. Average is well-adjusted, content, and balanced. If it's short, you're unaware, unmaterialistic, and laid back. The first phalange of the finger is usually slightly more pointed than that of the other fingers. Then we have your Saturn phalanges. First phalange is about emotions and presentations. If it's long, it's about stability, conformity, seriousness. Average is balanced, subtle, responsible. Short is uncommitted, revolutionary, and restless. If you're on your second phalange, intellect and the mind. If it's long, you're a quick thinker, stubborn, detail-oriented. Average is content, practical, and unassuming. Short is impatient, easily confused and intuitive. The third phalange would be about appearance and instinct. If it's long, it's conservative, disciplined, minimalistic. Average would be dignified, adaptable, and undisciplined. Short would be a penny pincher, eccentric, and oblivious. Saturn usually has more square fingertips than the other fingers. Then we're on to Apollo Flanges. First phalange, emotions and presentations. If it's long, creative, sensitive, dramatic. If it's average, well-balanced, sensitive, appreciative. Short, technically inclined and materialistic. The second phalange is about intellect and the mind. If it's long, obsessive, detail-oriented, and enjoy nuance. If it's average, moderate, independent, prudent. Short, specialized, unsuitable, eccentric. The third phalange is about appearance and instinct. If it's long, it's extravagant, vanity, opinionated. Average would be a hobbyist, collector, and a patron of the arts. Short would be minimalistic, modest, and obsessive behavior. And we have your Mercury phalanges. First phalange, again, about emotions and presentation. If it's long, it's intuitive, articulate, and perceptive. Average would be moderate, communicative, inquisitive. Short would be imaginative, procrastination, and laziness. Second phalange is about your intellect and the mind. Long would be boy, can I not talk today. Physiological, cautious, intellectual. Average would be interactive, planners, and thoughtful. Short would be disorganized, reserved, and arrogant. Your third phalange, appearance and instincts. If it's long, it's about pretentiousness, detail-oriented, ambitious. Average would be professional, modest, and practical. Short would be unassuming, unpretentious, and laid back. And your last card, guys, is the thumb phalanges. And there's only, well, there is 3. The first phalange is all about willpower. So if it's long, it means you're stubborn, dominant, opinionated. Average would be judgment, determination, and balance. Short would be unambitious, unmotivated, and lacking. Your second phalange, intellect and reason. If it's long, idea person. In action, overly analytical. Average would be learning, methodical, and logical. Short would be impulsive, lacking judgment, and abrupt. Third phalange is about love and passion. Long would be hopeless, romantic, lustful, and healthy. Average would be romantic, sensual, compassionate. Short, unresponsive, cynical, and non-sexual. The third phalange of the fun is also the Mountain of Venus. If the mount is the same length as the first 2 phalanges, combined, it is average. Okay? So remember, guys, with palmistry, your hands can change over time. So they're not going to be the same. This hand is going to be different from this hand. So you want to read both hands. And over time, things in your hand can change. Some of those stars and some of those grills, things like that can change how your life is going to be changing. So you want to constantly kind of read those and see if anything has changed in your hand. Okay, I hope this helps you guys. This was amazing. Long, but it was amazing. And I hope you guys learned a lot from it. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. And again, you know, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button for me. It would mean the world to me. And you'll be able to get to see the rest of the videos and get an update when I'm going to be doing those. So I hope you guys like this. Again, this is the Palmistry Learning Cards. The Art of Chiromancy. It's by Jadzia and Jay DeForest. Awesome. Awesome little cards. So look forward to the rest of the cards. We have 3 more to do in this series of the cards. And it is astrology, tree of life, and I have tarot learning cards. I've already done a tarot cards, a tarot walkthrough of the cards. But this will be interesting. It may have some different things in it to go through the tarot cards. I know a lot of you guys have a hard time with reading some of the cards. My suit, I have a suit that I have a hard time reading. And that suit is the wands for some reason. I have a hard time reading wands per se for the other suits. So again, look forward to those videos. They'll be coming up. And don't forget to check in. I'm doing your monthly readings. Check in for those too. Okay. I love you guys. I hope to see you next time. And have a amazing and a wonderful day. And I love you guys.